Page 47, why am I blue? On page 46, to give you more sight reading. I encourage you to do all the sight reading you can do. Yeah, as far as the speed goes, I mean, when you sight read it, you try and play it close to where they want. But if it's really hard music, you have no choice but to sight read it slowly. But your brightly there on the bottom of page 46, your brightly can be a lot of different speeds. Just try and play it accurate is what we're after here. Now for page 47, 4 lines long. We have endings here. We have to talk about those. Those are new. Oh, goody. 4/4 time, treble and bass clef, 1 sharp in the key signature. We're in the key of G major. I'll just save you the time looking. We're in the key of G major. Make sure you can do the G major scale, at least 1 octave up and down. You're almost to the point where you need to start doing 2 octaves if you've been doing the scales. Don't go in and try and do 2 octaves if you haven't been doing the scales. Take it 1 step at a time. Do the beginner portion of the scale video I have on G major. Just do everything, the trill exercise, the accents, the whole. Once you're doing that, and you can do it, it's comfortable, you know the scale, you can play it without looking at the keyboard and all that, then maybe you can do it, try 2 octaves. Do the intermediate level also. So let's just check this 1 head at a time first, make sure we got all the rhythm, well, 1 and 2 and 3 and, okay? Here, 1 and 2 and that's tied, just hang on to it. And then going on, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4, crossover, and then natural. That's all right. Yeah, we're not really changing hand positions. We sort of did, but we really need the hand to stay in this position. The thumbs will just come down. We're still sort of in this position, because when you look ahead at the notes that coming up, this is where we need to be. So that tells us what our position needs to be. So measure 4, measure 5, B flat. Remember the flat is good for the rest of the measure. So it's all, and then 1 and 2 and 3, and then natural. At measure 7, they don't need the natural sign. It's a natural anyway. But it's good to be clear. If you're into writing music, whatever, be clear. And if there's a chance the reader may think you made a mistake or something, put it in and be clear. So the natural sign doesn't hurt, it's okay. It just isn't technically necessary. And then measure 10, B flats again. The last measure there. It is a F sharp, it's in the key signature. F sharp, D sharp, and then here, I'm going to connect both. I want to go and slide off. It's kind of fun to slide. The trick is timing it just right so the notes go down at the same time. That's okay, but doing this one, get the notes down at the same time. Time that here. It's fun, and you need to do it, so okay. Left hand's just got the chords. The 1 chord, then the 4 chord, 1 chord, 5/7 chord, 4. It's following the 12-bar blues pattern. So we've had this 12-bar blues before, except this time we alter it at the end slightly because we're going to do it more than once. So at the bottom, instead of 2 bars of 1 like you're supposed to get, you get 1 bar of 1 and then 1 bar of 5/7. And the reason is because the 5/7 chord leads into the 1 chord very nicely. So you're using a 5/7 chord because when you repeat, you go back to the 1 chord. It leads into it. That's all. We could have left it with a 1 chord down there, but it sounds nice with the 5/7 there. But if you look at it, you're going to find there's 12 bars, 12 measures, and it follows the pattern that we've had before on 12-bar blues. Now let's talk these endings at the bottom. Music can have endings. Duh, there they are. You can have any number of endings. You can have a bunch of them. You can have, I mean, if you only have 1, there's no point in having an ending. That's it. I mean, you don't have to label it as an ending. Okay. But when you have more than 1 ending, then we do it this way. And an ending can be any number of measures. These endings are only 1 measure long. That's nice, or 1. But it could be several measures long. 8, 16 measures, any number of measures. That's not important. You just need to know that that line above the staff for the ending, it'll keep stretching for as long as the ending goes. So you know we're in the end. And most of the time, some publishers for some reason don't. And then you got to figure out where does the ending end. And that's a trick sometimes. But most, at least in piano music, they put it in for you. So the first time you play it, you play the first ending. Makes sense. There's a repeat sign, sends you back to the top. Ending does not always have to have a repeat sign, but it does. So if it doesn't have a repeat sign, you're going to go on after you skip any other endings and go on, but something has to send you back somewhere so you can do the other endings. Makes sense. It's easier to explain when we get to music with it in it. I just want you to understand there's a lot more to endings than this, so stay confused. And it'll be all right. The second time you play it, though, you come down, you skip the first ending because you played it once, you're done, and you do the second ending. There. And that's the roadmap, so to speak, on how you're doing it. As far as articulation goes, connect them. Lift up, lift up, lift up, lift up, lift up, lift up, lift up. Just lift up between the phrases. The left hand, just connect them as best you can. They don't give you any articulation for the left hand, so technically you can do anything you want. I could play them staccato if I wanted to. There's nothing marked. I'm just telling you for now, go ahead and play them as connected as you can. Dynamics apply to the melody. Whatever you think moderately loud is, the whole thing is basically that. And now when you get down to measure 9, you're going to go up to loud. Here, and now you're loud on measure 10, 11. And then the first ending, you're starting at loud and you're going to go back down to sort of a moderately soft or so. And then you go back to the top and moderately loud again. Now, the first ending, you can go just down to moderately loud if you want. That's all. You feel it. So experiment with these dynamics and how do you feel them? Now, at the end, the second ending, you're loud, going to very loud. Come down to moderately loud and go back up. Here. It's syncopation. We want, but we get, it comes quick. So play it a little louder. When you go to put the hands together, this left hand is your drums. It's a nice steady beat. And that's fine until that last measure, because it's 1 and 2 and 3. So play that before you play that. 1 and 2 and 3. Now, because it's a blues piece, we're going to play it in a blues style, which means the eighth notes we're going to swing the counting for eighth notes. 1 and 2 and 3 and 4. And you feel it. There's no notation for this. You feel it. And it's only the eighth notes and all the way through. Sort of how fast you're going to go, because when you swing the eighth notes like that, you're limited to how fast you can go. This says moderately slow anyway, so that's about what I was doing, I think. Why am I blue? Well, I don't know. Okay. Then finally they add pedal. Well, again, why are we adding pedal? Now, as near as I can tell, because you don't need pedal, you can do fine without it, but we're coloring the long notes. So we're going to color that. We're going to pedal it. Push the note down first, then the pedal. This is measure 3. Lift the pedal with the hand so we hear the phrasing. I want to hear a little silence there, so I'm going to lift the pedal with the hand. All the pedaling they're doing in here is the same way. Now when you get to the bottom, measure 11. You're pedaling here. Lift it with the hand in the first ending. So you lift it, so here we want a breath. We go to the second ending. rest. The right hand comes up, the pedal comes up, so we hear a rest here. And then you push the pedal down with the left hand here, and then everything comes up together. So the last line going to the second ending is this. Second ending here. And that's sort of how it's a little tricky. You have to practice the coordination of the foot and the hands, and when the hands are doing different and the foot's doing different. Yeah. I'd like to play this with you very slowly to double check all the notes and rhythms and things. I'm going to pedal it like I suggested. We are going to do the repeat, so we do both endings. I'm not going to do any dynamics. I'm going to play both hands about the same. I'll give us 4 counts because it's in 4/4 time. 1 and 2 and ready and go and.